What's up guys, welcome to another video. This one's going to be covering these valve spring compressor tools that I got. Finding the right one for my Golf R wasn't as clear cut as I thought it would be, so I figured I'd make this helpful video so that you guys know what to expect buying these, how they work, what else you need to use them, all that good stuff. First off, if you're new to the channel, this is my big turbo Mark 6 Golf R. It's been having a lot of issues. Right now I need to take apart the cylinder head so that I can drop it off at the head shop and get it cleaned. And I also need to take apart the other head because it has upgraded valve springs and retainers, which I will be using in the newly cleaned and rebuilt head. And before we fully dive into the valve spring tool, I just want to say I am going to be taking this channel a lot more seriously from now on. So I do have a new upload schedule. That'll be Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. And I'm planning on either doing like a little one take video or a live video on Sundays, probably like every other Sunday. So please hit the subscribe button. There's a huge announcement for this car once I hit 1,000 subs, and I'll show you guys that new car that I got. We'll call it at 800 subs. That car is actually pretty cool. I'll give you a little sneak peek of it. So I won't take you inside it, but I'll shine the flashlight through it. One of my favorite parts of the car. All right, so this is the old head. If you watched my last video, this is the old head. This is the one that I money shifted. So on Monday, I'm going to be dropping this head off. They'll be inspecting the guides. All of my new valves are going to be arriving tomorrow, which is Saturday, the day that this uploads. Shout out to ECS Tuning and Nate from ECS Tuning. He helped me out a lot because the initial valves that I ordered were actually, well, they were on back order, but the ECS website didn't tell me that they're on back order. So I contacted ECS and my dude Nate picked it up with overnight shipping on a different brand of valves that they had in stock. All right, first I'm just kind of like tightening this down a little bit because it was not bolted down at all. And if it's not bolted down, the tool is actually gonna like be trying to like rotate and pull the head off. So I'm just kind of lightly snugging it down. All right, that guy's snugged down good enough, so we can move over here to the first tool. So the first thing I bought was this guy. I didn't realize that this can only be used when the head is uninstalled. So if the head is removed, you can use this guy. It needs to come around the bottom and the top of the head. So on one side, this piece is actually going to be touching the valve, and the other side it's going to be pushing down and compressing on the valve spring. So if you're staying stock motor and you just want to increase your rev limit, then you may only be changing your valve springs without changing anything else. So in that scenario, you'll want the other tool. It is called ABN Auto Body Now valve spring tool. I'll put the link in the description. All right, so this is pretty much how it comes. You got this big rod that's gonna go through these 2 feet on either side, and then there's this arm that's gonna swing down and press this guy onto your valve spring. Comes with some hardware so that you can actually bolt these feet down onto the head. They were the correct size for my head, but they're a little bit long, so I had to put a bunch of little washers in here so that they wouldn't actually damage the the inside of the head. And you just need a 10mm wrench to actually tighten those down, and you'll be good. There's a bigger size guy right here. They're too big for this Volkswagen head. So first we'll put these 2 feet on. All right, so the feet are just gonna go on the 2 very ends. So one's gonna go right here, and the other one's gonna go all the way over here. As you can see, all those little cam tower bolt holes will be used. All right, so I'm getting these guys in here. I got the front one on, now I'm getting that back one on. But basically, once you get it on there, you can slide it to wherever you want. All right, so now we can grab this rod, now that I have both of those feet up on there, and we can stick that guy through. And as you can see, there are 7 different spots. There's 7 different holes you can stick this rod through. So let's just try the top middle one. And full disclosure, the kit actually didn't quite come with enough washers for me to not bottom out these bolts. So I just added 1 little tiny washer onto each bolt, and that did the trick for me. So I don't have these fully tightened down yet. I'm just kind of working with what spot I need them in. And when I was doing this before, I kind of found that you don't really need to care that much about where they specifically are. The tool is kind of forgiving. So let's grab the overhead arm right here and the attachment. So the attachment's going to go on that arm. To actually hold those two together, you just need to grab one of these little guys out. Just poking a hole through the bag to get it out. It has this open end right here. So this is the end that actually is going to go on to the valve springs. See how it has that open side to it? That's so that you can stick a magnet to pull the valve keepers out, the valve stem keepers. Or you can stick a tool in there when you're reinstalling these to actually push the valve keepers down and keep them in place. All right, I got you guys some more light because I care about you. Bam, bam. So now that we can actually see, so basically, as you can see, the valve springs are kind of coming up at an angle there. So this tool, we're gonna try to get to go as straight down at the valve spring as possible. So we're gonna have to do some adjustments here. So it's really not that difficult, but the arm is basically gonna have to go through one of these holes. We can use that cutout on the arm right there. Looks like if we use the furthest back hole on the arm, we'll get that going down pretty straight. So let's go ahead and put this little pin through there. So now that I know that these legs can pretty much come all the way up, that's a good spot for me. I'm gonna snug these down. If y'all don't have ratcheting box wrenches, you're missing out. Not tightening that down much, just a little bit. So these two are taken out, so don't look at those two. Over here, we'll set that guy up right there. And then we're gonna press down. And as you can see, and you do have to be kind of like careful when you're doing this, because if you're not super careful, you could probably like rotate and slip off. Just gotta make sure you're pressing straight down. Show you guys. Right there, you can see me compressing the spring. You can see the keepers are completely exposed right there, but they're not coming out because they just kind of like chill there. So that's why you need a magnet to actually pull those guys out. And that's why there's that big cutout on the side of the tool, so you can actually pass a magnet in there, pull those keepers out, and the spring will just fully decompress and you're good to go. So the unfortunate thing is that I don't have a really small magnet that can pass through there. The magnet that I got is gigantic, but it does work. So here's the magnet that I got. Got this thing off Amazon. I didn't realize it was gonna be this big. So look, it's way bigger than the tool right here. It does not go in there, but it does still work because this magnet is really strong. So when I just stick the magnet over here, it does pull the valve keepers right out. So it works fine. I would recommend just getting a smaller magnet that you can pass through there. Let me measure this real quick so you guys know what size magnet you can get. So it's totally overkill to be using digital calipers for this, but it's the only thing I have handy right here. So it's about 35/64. That's a little bit less than 5/8. Put that into millimeters. It is just under 14 millimeters. I don't know if that helps you. I'm gonna try to find a smaller magnet myself. So if I find one, I will link it in the description, just like everything else. Yeah, it would just be nice to have a smaller magnet that I can fit anywhere. So since I've had this magnet, which has been like not even a week, I've only worked on my car like maybe twice since then. I've already used that magnet to pull out like 5 bolts that I dropped, because pulling out that intake manifold, I dropped quite a few bolts. So yeah, this thing's nice. As you can tell, it's pretty strong. I'm not sure if you're actually gonna get a good angle on this, but maybe since this head's gonna be cleaned anyway and the head's nasty, I can just stick this camera right in the head. That thing's huge. Yo, my camera's still zooming. Look at that thing. That thing's like 2.5 inches long. That camera is like ready to fall in the position it's at right now, but I might be able to do this. Give you guys a close-up angle here. Here we go. All right, so there you can see valve keepers exposed. As you can just hear, I grabbed the keeper right there. Actually, I think I only grabbed one of them. That's not good. All right, there we go. So I got both of them. So now I can let that guy up, grab the camera. Thank God it didn't fall. And now that guy came up nicely. And there you have it. So now the spring comes out, and so does the little keeper up at the top. or the retainer. So that's a stock FSI retainer and spring. And then down there you'll see the seal right there. So that's the seal right there. The valve can actually now drop right into the cylinder. So if you're doing this with the head on the car and you don't want to actually remove it, you're gonna either want to compress the cylinder with air. You can do that through your spark plug hole, just like you were doing if you're doing like a leak down test. You can check out my leak down test video if you want to see that. Or what you can do is also take the spark plug out and feed a bunch of nylon rope down there. So I have a bunch of nylon rope over here somewhere. I actually can't even find it, but basically if you get too big, obviously you're not going to be able to fit it in that hole. 1/4 inch would work too, but I'm pretty sure I got 3/8. So nylon rope, stuff it down in there. So you're basically creating like a pillow for the valve. That valve won't be able to drop all the way into the cylinder. Instead, it'll just hit the nylon and you won't lose your valve. In my experience with these, the valve won't even drop all the way down there anyway, as long as you have that seal on there. Okay, both keepers came out right there. Okay, that one was easy too. All right, so this one's problematic because without the proper size magnet, it's really tough to get in there and grab the keepers. The magnet, as you guys saw, is too big to fit inside there. And right here, we have this little like wall on either side. On the right, there's the cam journal, but on the left, there's that little wall. That is actually gonna be a problem. I cannot get in there with the magnet, and you can't rotate this tool so that the opening is facing like the back of the head, because it's just pinned in, you can't rotate it. So get this one, I'm gonna have to get a little bit more creative. All right, so I found a little broken piece of a magnet. So here's what I'm gonna do. I stuck the little broken piece of a magnet on the end of a long, what is this? A long Torx. So this guy, I'll be able to reach in there. All right, I got one of the keepers out. Okay, the other one does not want to come out. The part of the issue is that the valve is actually getting compressed along with the spring. Yeah, that valve is going right down with the spring. All right, found my nylon string. So I was right, I did get 3/8 of an inch rope here. So let's see if this guy even wants to go in there, because I think 3/8 is cutting it kind of close to how the, I think the actual size of the hole is about 1/2 inch. What I probably should have done is just gotten like 1/4 inch just to play it safe. Yeah, I don't think that's going in. Yep. Well, that was a fail. 3/8 is too big to go in there. Physically small enough to go in. It's just that it's got to go in just by like you dangling it and letting it fall in there. So when there's like no force behind the rope, it doesn't want to go in that hole because it's a little bit too tight of a squeeze. So I would definitely recommend 1/4 inch at the biggest. So that kind of sucks. So I'm gonna have to find out a different way to hold this valve up. It is way too late for me to start up that air compressor because that thing is loud as hell and it's like midnight right now. All right, I got that guy out. It wasn't easy, it was super sketchy. It like popped out. It was actually a little bit dangerous because it kind of like, it got unseated, but I couldn't actually grab it out. So then it was kind of like just getting wedged in there in positions that I really shouldn't have been in. Thankfully, just kind of like popped out. It wasn't too violent. You should definitely wear eye protection when you're doing this. If one of these little guys gets unseated, but still wedged in there, and then you let go of the spring, and there's all that tension on the spring, and this thing just like fires up at your eye, yeah, that wouldn't be good. All right, this other one was way easier with that method. I was able to get both of the retainers out with this little magnet pretty easily, actually. Hopefully you guys can see that right there. That is an example of the retainer kind of coming out. It's not seated in there, but it's still stuck in there. It's like I don't have any force. See, like I can take this tool off and it's holding in there, but it's not safe at all. So be careful when that happens. If it happens, wear eye protection. Just don't mess around with it. I'm actually just looking at it on my camera. Because if that thing pops out, I don't want to be anywhere near it. I've had bad enough luck as it is with everything breaking on my car. I'm not trying to really extend that luck to physical harm. So it's in that hole right there. Oh, there it is, showing up now. All right, so there it is. So hopefully my little magnet guy will get in there. This little guy should fit in there and hopefully it actually grabs it. If not, I'll have to shake this head upside down once I take it back off. Nope, didn't want to grab it. So we got all of the intake side. So now I'm gonna move. We'll do the exhaust side. Then we'll take a look at that other tool. That's for when the head is off. So I will use that to do the other head right there. So again, that head is all messed up. Cam journals are all scored up on the exhaust side. There was also burning oil apparently. Oil was getting past the valve seals or the guides, not really sure what. So the only thing I'm really taking from that head is the SuperTech titanium valve springs and retainers. They're gonna go into this head. It's gonna get cleaned up. New valves, new seals, rockers, and lifters. I'm probably gonna be using from this head because these are low mileage lifters and rockers. So they should be pretty good. There's no like visible signs of damage on them. So there should be no problem with running those. You know what, look at this. This tool is actually gonna hit the heat shield and the windshield cowl right here. Not sure how I'm gonna do this side actually. If I drop the handle down to this next spot right here, that'll bring the handle down a lot, which might help. All right, so this tool is now on the next lower spot. It was up here before, now it's on this spot. Kind of like it helps me out clearance wise, but now I really can't use the tool. Makes the tool pretty unusable. Not really gonna work. Oh, so maybe that's what this hole over here is for? Maybe I can put this guy over here and then continue to use the tool from this side. So then I could go like that and it'll press down. Yeah, that's definitely how it works. All right, so this is what I was talking about, putting the tool on the opposite side of the arm. Yeah, it kind of looks like it would work, but it's also in a pretty awkward position. So really that bar would probably be better if it was moved farther away. All right, that's gonna do it. Perfect. That valve's going down with the spring though, a little bit. Well, I don't know how I had such good luck on the intake side because the exhaust side is actually pretty difficult. All three of the ones that I've tried so far, only one of the keepers came out and the other side I can't get out. So 3 of those valve springs are just being held by 1 keeper each. So it's a little bit sketchy. I'm gonna try to get those out as fast as I can. The tool is just a little bit difficult to use, to be honest, because the thing is you have to, like, you need to hold that the whole time when you're working on getting that retainer out. And in this position particularly, you need to put quite a bit of force on this handle. It's nothing insane, but it's probably like 30 pounds of force that I'm putting on this. Like, if you're holding it there for like 30 seconds, your arm gets tired. It's just not the best design if you don't have the perfect tools to reach in there and grab the retainers real quickly. If you do have the perfect tools, then this is a pretty useful tool. I'm gonna have to look at what else is out there on the market for valve spring remover tools because or valve spring compressors, because this really isn't the easiest thing to use. Like I said, if you don't have the perfect things to grab the retainers, and if you have clearance issues like right here, it was just tricky to get them out. Comment if you found a better tool than this one. And honestly, if I can't find something better on the market, I am very tempted to design one myself because I am an engineer and that would be something I'm interested in doing so that I can help other people out. All right, so I'm pretty much striking out with this exhaust side for some reason. The big magnet that I have is only pulling out one of the retainers if I'm lucky. The other one just kind of stays in there. And once that happens, the valve likes to go down when you compress the spring. It likes to go down with the retainer. So these are pretty hard to get out. So basically, my closing thoughts are it's a usable tool, but the magnet should not be an afterthought. It should be something that you really think out and get a good one. You want the smallest point you can really get. So if you can get like one that's basically like the point of a pen, that would be perfect. We'll see how that other tool does. I'm thinking it's gonna be a lot easier than this. Basically, I think I'm gonna want it on its side. Actually, let me take the rockers and lifters out first because like I said, I'm probably gonna be reusing these. So, all right, I got all of those guys out, all the rockers and lifters. So this tool is made by Genius Tools. It is not an overhead compressor, so you need the head to be off of the block. All right, looks pretty simple. Looks like you would put this bottom part on the actual valve, and then this top part gonna spin down and compress the spring. See, I like these a lot better than the other tool. See, these guys have, seems like more clearance to really get your tools, like your magnet in there. So I like that. So I guess that guy would just go right in there. And then there has to be something here for the valve, I would assume. So you probably wouldn't want to damage your valves, but then again, I don't see anything else. This guy, I guess, would be if you like, if your head is really small, I guess. Not really sure. Oh, well, maybe you use one of these on that side too for the valve, like that. Maybe. I mean, it fits over that guy too. Don't think there are any instructions either. Yeah, this little picture does not show one of the little tools going on the valve. It only shows it going on the valve. Sorry, the valve retainer. All right, so I decided to actually use one of those little pieces on the valve side. That's what it looks like. On the other side, I just need to actually center that. Looks like we're far enough already to grab the retainer. Okay, got one of them. One of them always comes out easy, the other one's always more difficult. Nice thing about this tool is that you can rotate this guy so that the cutout faces different directions. So like before I had it right there, but now if I want to get to the other retainer, I can rotate it further and that cutout will be down there. Okay, so now I have it compressed a lot further. The retainer should be very easy to grab now. I'm gonna put that big magnet in there again, see if it grabs it. Yep, pull it right out easily. So now I can undo this guy. So that was much easier than the other tool. There you go, yeah, I can pull that guy out and then like rotate it to the next spot and then pop that guy back in. Maybe the setup won't be as slow as I thought. The reason why I stuck one of these tools on the valve side as well, sorry, like the bottom of the valve, is because the little threaded rod on the other side, it has one of those little locking balls in it. So I think the intended purpose is to use one of these. I mean, the intended purpose of that ball is to lock that guy on there. So if the threaded rod on the other side has one of those, I'm thinking these are meant to be used on that side. All right, so my camera just died, but I only have a couple more minutes of recording I have to do anyway, so I'm just gonna use my phone for the rest of this. I will do a couple more before I give like my final thoughts on this. Seems like it's going to run pretty smoothly. What I want to test is those difficult spots that I had with the other one right here. So this is that spot where I have that clearance issue because of this guy right here. So let's see what this tool can do in that spot. And then I'll do a couple more regular ones, and then I'll just give you guys my like final thoughts on this. All right, here we go. So I got that guy on that side, this guy on this side. Let's see how easy or difficult this is. And honestly, the little adapter piece that I'm using, probably a little bit too big because it's like perfectly the size of the retainer. I forgot, the other tool, you can only orient that opening to be on like that side, on like the left and the right. You can't orient it this way, so this might be a little bit easier. The magnet's not grabbing it, so let me try compressing it a little bit more. See if it wants to grab it now. Oh, yeah, grab both of them. Dude, hell yeah. That was awesome. That was way, 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 way easier than the other tool. But, I mean, you also have to take your head off to use this tool, so that in itself is a lot more work. Taking the turbo off and the intake manifold and like draining your coolant and all that. Yeah, I'm really liking this tool. All right, so I got both of those like bad clearance ones out. So I got only 3 of them out so far, but I am sold on this tool. It's a really, really, really good tool. So the combination of not having to hold the tool, like all you have to do is just compress the tool and it stays there. That and the fact that you can orient this guy no matter which direction, like any direction that you want, makes this tool 10 times easier to use than the other one. But as I said, the only downside of this tool is that you have to take the head off to use it. But yeah, if you're taking the head off anyway, don't even bother with that other tool. Just use this one. You'll save yourself a lot of effort. So yeah, I pretty much saw as much as I wanted to see with that tool. But while I'm at it here, I am going to, it's getting pretty late, but I'm gonna take a couple more off so that I can just take a look at the valve seals on the exhaust side, because that is where I was getting all of that crazy leakage over here. So I had cylinder 2 right here, which is drenched. Both valves were soaked in oil, so soaked that you can't even really see that valve on the left. You can barely see it, it's so black. And then cylinder 3, just that valve right there, seemed to have an issue. One interesting thing that I've found so far is that these seals, see if you look right here, this seal, what happened to it? Look, so that seal looks normal. That seal looks normal. What happened to that seal? There's like, I can't even really see. It's like gone or like it's broken. Oh, maybe the seal just popped off. Oh, the seal popped off and it's right there. You guys see that? The seal is broken in half. I wasn't violent taking that thing off at all. I didn't pull that off. In fact, the valve just slid right out after I took the valve spring off, and the seal just popped right out as well. Yeah, the seal is destroyed on that one. These two are in perfect shape, and all the ones that I removed over here, they're different style seals. These ones are black, but they all look normal. I took that one out. See, they're all fully intact, normal. I wasn't harsh with them at all. I didn't even touch the seals besides that one that I took out. Oh, cylinder 2 was the one that was burning oil. That oil was getting into the cylinders and blowing out of that exhaust port, which is why it's so dirty. Pushing all 3 of these out, taking a look at them. I mean, the valve needs lubrication to actually run through the guide, so I guess it doesn't really tell me anything that there's oil on there. That's gonna be it for this video. I wasn't really gonna dive into like pulling the head apart in this video. It was more just to show you guys these 2 tools. Again, that one's kind of like an unnecessary evil if you're trying to do this with the head still in the car. Unless there's something better out there, you guys let me know. The other one has worked flawlessly. It was, oh my god, that bug scared the shit out of me. That one was much easier to use. All right, it's now like 1:30 in the morning, so I gotta go. I will resume taking all this stuff apart tomorrow, and then I'm dropping the head off, the other one, on Monday to get cleaned and have the guides inspected. I'll see you guys in the next video. Like I said, Monday, Wednesday, Saturday will be the new schedule, so I'll see you guys on Monday. Thanks for watching.